For those of you that have been with my channel since the very beginning, it should come as little surprise to you that James Bond 007 GoldenEye comes in number 10 on my list, as I've always made myself known to be a very big fan of the game for a multitude number of reasons. It has a very good amount of weapons. It's overflowing with weapons. It has secret hidden parts in the game that were actually torn out from the original game, such as the legendary one in the first level. There are deadly parts later on inside the game where you'll die with a few machine gun shots. And this is not even kidding. And I love games that reward you with difficulty. It is one of the only games to feature the legendary 006. It has hours of playtime and just fun for everyone. And there's cheats. There's all sorts of fun cheats, such as all weapons, paintball gun mode, big head mode, and little head mode, and there's very much more. This game I would recommend to almost all of my friends, if not all of them. I can't say that for most of the things on my upper list, but this one I really can. And that makes me very happy to say that it actually made my list for such an old game, to bypass all the rest that I've played over the years to make it to number 10 on my list. Making it up to number 9 on my list is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Coming in this battle with a good campaign, great for two-player multiplayer in Galactic Conquest, 4 different armies to choose from during the Galactic Conquest, 2 different wars to play in Galactic Conquest, space battle mode, and specific fighters with special weapons. You really have every single angle covered on this game. You will not find a better game to have fun with for hours than Star Wars Battlefront 2, except for the ones that better top this list for me. But Star Wars Battlefront 2 I would almost recommend to everyone, except for those that are just a little bit too tad into the violence scenario. It's not violent at all. Like, it's violent, but there's no blood, there's no gore, it's just lasers and people falling over. But there are some people that do get offended by this, so that's why I'm going to say that I wouldn't recommend it to I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, just almost everyone. But this game has every single angle covered, and it comes at you from every which way with fantastic playing. Storyline, parts, armies, characters, and it talks about the entire battles that go on within the world of Star Wars. And seeing these battles come to life and playing them, it's just fantastic. So, that's why this game made it up to number 9 on my list. Coming in at number 8 on my list is Dark Watch, with a compelling storyline, good feeling guns that really feel like you're doing damage to the enemy. There are tough but possible enemies inside the game. The higher and higher you go up on the chain, the stronger the enemies may become, but they're still tough, but they're still possible. You still feel like there's a hint of hope. I mean, useful female companions, useful. Your character can be decided whether he is good or bad. It is all dependent on you. Throughout the entire game, you get different perks for good or bad deeds, and it's all dependent on your own decision. Your character can turn out to do whatever he wishes, and in the end, whatever you do affects your end. Different deeds are done with different perks unlocked. So every single deed that you do, you unlock a different perk. So if you do a bad deed, you unlock a perk along the bad side, and if you do a good deed, you unlock a perk along the good side. The pros and cons weigh each other, and the bad deeds are better. Just gonna throw that right out there. Would I recommend this game to another friend? Yes, I would. Once again, it goes along with the Star Wars Battlefront 2 line, that it is not very, but it's still really graphic in its attacks and such, and there are a few sex scenes where I don't think would be very good for kids, so I'd rather not recommend this to everyone, but to most people, yeah, still. I would say this game is very fun. Coming in at number 7 on my top 10 favorite video games list is Super Smash Bros. Brawl. A game that is fun for the whole family, has a fantastic storyline called Subspace Emissary, great selection of characters, as Super Smash Bros. Always does. The ability to use Project M, which is a mod for the game that gives it basically the same exact feel as Melee, which had a better character selection in my opinion, but with Project M, that puts Brawl way above the list of the rest of the Super Smash Bros., including the new ones. Challenge mode, music player, and masterpiece selection are all included inside of this jam-packed game of non-stop fun, family fun, incredible story modes, classic mode, adventure mode, adventure mode, subspace seminary, all included. Challenges added on. There is just nothing this game doesn't have, along with hidden characters and characters brought back from Melee. This game has it all, and it's giving it all out on display instantly. Monster Hunter's Try for the Wii. This one is out for the 3DS and has a lot more added on to offer. As the Wii required you to play online to get past certain parts of the game because the single player mode only gave you half of the game, the online gave you the other half, which they had to end up getting rid of because they couldn't keep the servers on anyways. Monster Hunter's Try Ultimate gives you the full game right there in a great package. Not saying the Monster Hunter's Try regular was not fantastic, but this one gives it all to you. It has a greater amount of weapons, a greater amount of armor, a greater amount of boss monsters, different paths of different weapons that you can take for buffing, different buffs on different paths of weapons, very threatening monsters that look extremely scary and will possibly and most likely wreck your world straight up. Fantastic sensation whenever you kill a high-ranking monster. This game makes you feel fantastic whenever you finally sink that final hit into that gigantic beast, and it makes you feel fantastic on the inside. That's the only word I can say. Easy to measure the growth of your character over time. You can easily tell from whenever you first begin off as a noob hunter with only 2 weapons to whenever you're a fantastic hunter, fantastic main word, with an entire box full of just any kind of arsenal of weaponry that you want to pull out. Bowgun, you've got it. Bow, you've got it. Greatsword, you've got it. Sword and shield, you've got it. Dual swords, you have it. Everything you have at your disposal, and you're going to use it all to tear up these enemies. It's easy to see your growth over time inside of this game, and it'll always leave you with a smile on your face. It always did for me, and I would recommend this game to anybody. This game is a masterpiece made by Capcom. Coming in at number 5 is Call of Duty Ghost, which was probably the most hated Call of Duty in all of the franchise. But for me, it is my favorite, and there is a lot of great things about this game that a lot of people overlooked. First of all, a lot of people play Call of Duty only for the online, and if you only play for the online, then sure, you're going to have some bad Call of Duty games, but this game had the best campaign out of all of them, in my opinion. I have yet to see a Call of Duty game that has a greater campaign than this. It had great guns that really made you feel powerful whenever you use them. You had power with these guns, unlike other guns, like in Advanced Warfare, where you still get some power out of your gun, but they sound like pepper shakers. They're terrible. These guns sound great, they fire great, they act great, they are great. These maps, they had great maps that were specifically designed to accommodate for campers. And I know a lot of people hate campers, but if it's designed inside of the game to actually allow campers to be there, to actually put them in the game for their own enjoyment as well, because there are people that do the style of camping, and they're not just the COD people are not just going to leave these people out. So they accommodated for these campers by putting in specific areas on each map where they could sit there and camp, and if they don't get spotted, then that's great, but if they do, there's still a chance of them dying. I mean, I don't know why people hate campers so much. So they actually accommodated for campers in this game, which a lot of people hated, but I freaking loved, and I don't even camp, but I love the fact that they at least thought about them. Throughout the entire campaign, you're going to find extreme amount of plot twists. There's so many, and it just keeps your interest right until the end of the game. You're sitting there and you're gunning it. I beat this entire game in one day with nonstop. I just could not stand it. I was ready and I was happy. This campaign was freaking amazing. So, I hope you all Jordan number 5, and we're going to be moving on down the list. By the way, I would recommend this game to probably about only half of my friends. It's only half the people that you'd meet you'd probably recommend this game to. Not a lot of people like it, and there's obviously. Several times throughout my videos have I been recognized as a Lord of the Rings fan, so it's not a weird thing or an uncommon thing to see Lord of the Rings Return of the Kings coming in at number 4. It tells the epic story of the final movie, sharing 3 different paths that you can follow along, a level system included, very memorable fights, and it puts you in the wars, which is just fantastic. Satisfying feeling of killing enemies. Every single enemy that you kill that's like a huge boss enemy or kind of thing, you just get this little satisfying feeling of just hearing them die. And that sounds so creepy. Very useful power-ups that you get along your journey. You get a lot of useful power-ups that increase everything from your HP to how many bolts you can fire to the power of your bolts that you fire. It has hidden characters included and a very memorable and hard boss fight. So do with that what you will. It's a fantastic game. I would recommend this game once again to anybody. Minus the fact of the people that don't like gore and violence. That's probably going to be stable for the rest of these games, just so you know. I would recommend this game to almost anybody. Coming in at number 3 on my list is Soul Calibur Legends. This game I am in love with. It was basically disowned by the people that make Soul Calibur, Project Soul people. They basically disowned this game, got rid of any rights for the game because they hated it so bad, and I don't understand why. This game is my favorite Soul Calibur game out of them all, and it's for Wii. You get to use the Wii Remote as your sword. It has very deep characters. It tells the entire backstory of Siegfried, Nightmare, and a few other characters that they threw in. It is a great amount of content. The game will keep you busy for hours. Freedom-based tile attacking, which all the Soul Calibur games have, but this game I'm especially happy for. Because instead of mashing the X button, I can swing my Wii Remote and my character will swing his sword. So there's not much better I could ever ask for that. It has Lloyd Irving, which is, if any of you don't not know, Lloyd Irving is probably one of my most favorite characters of any video game ever. It tells the entire story of my favorite sword ever, Soul Edge. And it's got memorable boss fights. It had a great plot twist. And this entire game is just a fantastic twist on an all-out head-to-head fighting combat game that I've loved since I was a child. There is just no way of getting around the fact of how much I love this game. Once again, I would not recommend it to all people because, once again, a lot of people didn't like this game. There has to be a reason why for that. I can't see it myself, but other people probably can. I've played it with a few of my friends, and they've all loved it, but I can't recommend it to all people, considering that it's got a terrible rating, and they almost basically disowned it. I don't see why, but that's how it is. That's how life is. This is probably a shocker for everyone that Dark Souls is coming in at number 2 on my list. With its great storyline and impeccable lore, its replayability, its fantastic graphics, fantastic amount of weapons, no boundaries, you can go anywhere you want. Your character is basically part of your covenant. Your character is in your covenant. You have different covenants to choose from. The actual hitboxes on Dark Souls 1 compared to Dark Souls 2, which is terrible, and Dark Souls 2. Memorable boss fights. I mean, these bosses, I still remember the first time I've ever fought Smo and Ornstein. Fantastic map design, and these characters that are so deep, but yet they're not deep at all. They don't tell you anything about themselves, but yet they do at the same exact time. You literally have to listen, interpret, and read every single item description you get to figure out the lore and the story behind this game. It is so deep and so fantastic, and I just dived straight into it 2 years ago and have never came out. This game has kept my attention constantly, and I don't see myself ever coming off of this game. But as you say, or as you see, it's only ranked at number 2. So what can be my rank at number 1? It's time for everyone to see my favorite video game of all. Coming in at number one is one of the smallest games have ever hit the face of video gaming history. It only came out inside Japan for PlayStation 2 and inside the United States for GameCube. It recently had a reboot on the PS3, which I'm going to guess did not get very many sales, but this game was impeccable. Everything about Tales of Symphonia I loved as a kid whenever I bought it as an older teen, which was $45, by the way. Now it's up to about $70. Everything I loved about it. Whenever I finally beat it, I had to replay it over again. The storyline is fantastic. The character build-up is right there. It's just nailing it all the way in the entire game. It's building up these characters, these elaborate characters that you get to learn about. And one of them including Lloyd Irving, my favorite video game character of all time. It has so many sudden plot twists that you might as well just say that this game was made by one director that does all the plot twists. His name escapes me right now, but there's so many plot twists. It has loads of content, actually over 80 hours if you're just doing the storyline alone. If you're going out for the side quests, you can turn that 80 hours into about 140. This game is so long for just being a GameCube game. It literally comes with 2 discs. There is side quests galore in this game, and some of them even rewarding you very handsomely, like with the Devil's Arm side quest, which actually happens to have the hardest boss fight in the game, but it's only a side quest, and if you're actually able to complete it, you get rewarded with the strongest weapons in the game. You have loads of weapons to choose from for each character alone. There's at least 20 different weapons that you can choose from. Of course, whenever you get to the end of the game, you're only going to be using either one style of weapon or 2. I mean, everything else gets outranked, but they're all there. You have great challenges throughout the game. The boss fights and everything is just a fantastic challenge. And if you're watching mine and Ryan's Let's Play, you'll be able to see that whenever we fight the rock golems and such, that they are a very big challenge, especially whenever one of your members is down and you cannot heal them. There's freestyle-based attacking, so it's no turnstile-based attacking for this RPG masterpiece. It is all freestyle. It is amazing power moves, memorable boss fights, and extreme replayability. I have beaten this game over twice, and to get both games, to beat it twice for my second time, I sat there for hours fighting that hardest boss fight. I have over 240 hours just on the second playthrough alone. This game has incredible replayability, and I love this game to pieces. I would recommend this game to literally anyone, and I mean literally anyone. I can push this game off on anyone, and I can almost guarantee that they're going to love it as much as I do. Too bad it never got its big break. It never hit the light of day that it should have. But still, a lot of people know Tales of Symphonia, so I'm not going to complain. It's a fantastic game, and hopefully this is going to inspire some of you to go out and experience the magic for yourself, and even just to watch me and Ranger Ryan play it for a Let's Play. Anyway, that's my top 10 favorite video games list of all time. So I hope you all enjoyed. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya. Thank you everyone for tuning in to watch my first ever top 10, and as you know, videos always get better from the beginning, so the more and more I do these, the better and better they'll get, because I know right now it's not probably one of the best you've ever seen. It will never be one of the best you've ever seen. But I've worked very hard on this video, so please like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Do anything you wish. I kept a few rules on this. The only rule really is that I only had one game per franchise. Because if I would have had more, there might have been another franchise game on there that would have kind of overpowered another one. But I kept it one game per franchise. So I hope you all enjoyed, as I enjoyed making this video. In fact, it was actually a really fun experience to be able to edit this entire thing together. One of my first big editing projects, aside from the video that you saw before this one. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all enjoy my content from here on out. As I said, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all inside my next video.